Good leaders communicate. Great leaders inspire. But the most powerful leaders, they don't just speak, they create movements. Think about the leaders you admire, the ones who changed the world. They didn't just tell people what to do, they made people believe. Because powerful leadership communication is not about authority, it's about influence. It's about making people feel something so strongly that they take action, not because they have to, but because they want to. And it all starts with why. People don't buy into what you do, they buy into why you do it. They don't follow commands, they follow a cause. If you communicate your why with clarity and conviction, you don't have to push people forward, they will run alongside you. But here's the problem. Most leaders communicate backwards. They talk about what needs to be done. They give instructions. They demand results. And then they wonder why no one feels connected to the mission. The best leaders do it differently. They start with purpose. They create a story that resonates. They make people feel seen, heard, and valued. Because the truth is, people don't just want direction, they want meaning. And how do you give them that? Listen before you speak. The best communicators don't start with their own words, they start with others' needs. Tell a story, not just facts. Data informs, but stories inspire. If you want people to act, make them feel. Be real. People don't follow perfect leaders, they follow honest ones. Be authentic, be vulnerable, and most importantly, be human. Powerful leadership communication is not about commanding attention, it's about earning trust. And trust is built through consistency, empathy, and vision. So the next time you speak, don't just tell people what to do, show them why it matters. Because when people believe in something bigger than themselves, they don't just follow, they lead. Most leaders start by telling people what to do. They give instructions, set goals, and expect results. But the most powerful leaders, the ones who inspire real action, don't start with what. They start with why. Because people don't buy into a plan, a strategy, or even a product. They buy into purpose. They follow leaders who make them feel something, leaders who give them a reason to believe. Think about the leaders who have shaped history. They didn't just communicate their ideas, they made people care. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't start with a detailed policy proposal, he started with a dream. Steve Jobs didn't just sell computers, he invited people to challenge the status quo. These leaders understood something fundamental. People don't follow because of logic alone, they follow because of belief. Yet so many leaders do it backwards. They focus on what needs to be done, then explain how to do it. They expect people to be motivated by targets, deadlines, or efficiency. But motivation doesn't come from pressure, it comes from purpose. When people understand why something matters, they don't need to be pushed. They move forward on their own. This is why leadership communication isn't about manipulation, it's about inspiration. And inspiration happens when people see themselves as part of something bigger than their job, their paycheck, or their routine. A leader's role isn't just to instruct, it's to create a vision so clear and compelling that people want to be part of it. When you start with why, you don't have to convince people to care, they already do. You don't have to demand loyalty, they give it freely. You don't have to force engagement, they lean in because they believe. Powerful leadership isn't about authority, it's about influence. And influence begins with purpose. When leaders communicate their why with clarity and passion, they don't just get compliance, they ignite commitment. And that is the difference between leading people and inspiring them. Too often, leaders believe that complexity makes them sound intelligent, authoritative, or credible. They use jargon, long-winded explanations, and intricate strategies, thinking that more information will create more impact. But in reality, the opposite is true. The most powerful messages are the simplest ones. People don't remember complexity, they remember clarity. When a leader speaks in a way that is clear, direct, and easy to understand, their words stick. Clarity doesn't mean dumbing things down. It means making ideas so sharp and focused that they cut through the noise. The best leaders know that if people can't repeat the message, they haven't truly understood it. Think about the most famous speeches, the most influential movements, and the most effective leaders. They communicate in a way that a child could understand. I have a dream. Yes, we can. think different. These words aren't complex, but they are powerful because they are clear. They leave no room for doubt about what they mean. Complexity creates barriers. It makes people feel disconnected, overwhelmed, or unsure of what to do next. Clarity, on the other hand, creates action. It gives people confidence. It aligns teams, strengthens cultures, and builds trust. When leaders communicate with clarity, people don't just hear them, they believe them. The leader's job is not to impress with knowledge, but to connect with understanding. The goal isn't to show how much you know, it's to make sure your message resonates. The simpler an idea is, the easier it is to remember, to share, and to act on. And at the end of the day, leadership is not about what you say, it's about what others take away. Leadership is not about titles or authority, it's about influence. And influence is not built through power, expertise, or even vision alone. It's built through empathy. Empathy is the ability to step into someone else's world, to understand their thoughts, emotions, and struggles. It's not just about hearing people, it's about making them feel heard. When people feel understood, they trust. And trust is the foundation of influence. Many leaders believe that strong leadership means being tough, decisive, and always in control. But the truth is, people don't follow leaders because they are the smartest person in the room. They follow leaders who make them feel valued, a leader who listens before they speak, who acknowledges challenges instead of dismissing them, and who connects on a human level will always inspire more loyalty than one who leads with authority alone. Empathy is not about being soft, it's about being real. It doesn't mean agreeing with everyone or avoiding tough decisions. It means recognizing that people are not just workers, numbers, or resources. They are human beings with fears, ambitions, and emotions. When leaders take the time to understand what drives their people, they unlock a deeper level of motivation and commitment. The best leaders don't just tell people what to do. They create an environment where people feel safe, valued, and empowered. They ask questions instead of assuming. They listen to understand, not just to respond. They recognize that leadership is not about them, it's about the people they serve. A leader who leads with empathy doesn't need to demand loyalty, they earn it. They don't need to push people forward. People move because they feel seen, supported, and inspired. And when people feel that way, they don't just follow, they go all in. People don't follow perfection, they follow honesty. In a world where leaders are often expected to have all the answers, maintain a flawless image, and never show vulnerability, the most powerful leaders are the ones who dare to be real. Authenticity is not just a leadership trait. It is the foundation of trust, and trust is what makes people truly believe. Too many leaders fall into the trap of trying to appear invincible. They hide their struggles, put on a mask of certainty, and avoid admitting mistakes. But people can sense when something isn't genuine. They don't connect with carefully crafted personas. They connect with real people. When a leader is authentic, they create an environment where honesty is valued, where people feel safe to speak up, and where trust becomes the backbone of the culture. Being authentic doesn't mean oversharing or being unfiltered. It means being aligned, ensuring that your words, actions, and values match. It means having the courage to say, I don't know, when you don't. It means admitting when you're wrong and being willing to grow. A leader who is open about their challenges and honest in their communication earns more respect than one who pretends to have it all figured out. Authenticity also creates deeper connections. When leaders allow themselves to be human, others feel permission to do the same. It removes the pressure to be perfect and replaces it with the freedom to be real. And when people feel they can bring their true selves to work, they are more engaged, more committed, and more willing to go the extra mile. In leadership, the goal is not to be liked by everyone. It's to be trusted by the right people. And trust isn't built through scripted speeches, polished presentations, or corporate language. It's built through honesty, consistency, and the willingness to show up as you truly are. Because in the end, people don't follow leaders who seem perfect. They follow leaders who make them feel that they too can be great. Most people listen to respond. Great leaders listen to understand. Too often, leadership is associated with talking, giving speeches, making decisions, offering advice. But the most powerful leaders know that real influence begins with listening. When you truly listen, you don't just hear words, you hear emotions, concerns, and unspoken thoughts. You learn what truly matters to people, what drives them, what challenges they face. And when people feel heard, they feel valued. Many leaders make the mistake of believing their role is to have all the answers. They rush to provide solutions, give instructions, and move the conversation forward. But leadership is not about having all the answers. It's about asking the right questions. When a leader takes the time to listen first, they gain deeper insights, make better decisions, and build stronger relationships. Listening is not passive, it's active. It requires presence, patience, and the ability to resist the urge to interrupt or jump to conclusions. It means putting aside distractions, setting aside ego, and focusing entirely on the person speaking. A leader who listens fully, without judgment, without trying to fix things too quickly, creates an atmosphere of trust and openness. Beyond that, listening allows a leader to see things from perspectives they might otherwise miss. It bridges gaps between leadership and teams, aligns people toward a common goal, and fosters a culture where ideas and innovation can thrive. A leader who listens before speaking empowers others to contribute, making people feel that their voices matter. Great communication isn't just about speaking clearly, it's about listening deeply. A leader who speaks before they listen only hears their own voice. A leader who listens first gains the wisdom of many. And wisdom, not just words, is what moves people forward. Facts inform, but stories inspire. Leaders can present data, share strategies, and list objectives, but if they don't connect with people emotionally, their message will be forgotten. Storytelling isn't just a communication tool, it's a leadership superpower. People don't remember statistics, they remember how something made them feel. A well-told story can take abstract ideas and make them real. It can turn a vision into something people can see, feel, and believe in. This is why the most influential leaders, whether in business, politics, or social movements, are also great storytellers. They don't just explain concepts, they bring them to life. Storytelling makes leadership personal. When a leader shares their own experiences, struggles, and lessons, they build a connection with their audience. People see themselves in the story. They relate to the journey, the obstacles, and the emotions behind it. And when people relate, they engage, they listen, they care. But storytelling isn't just about telling personal anecdotes. It's about crafting a narrative that makes people feel something. It's about showing, not just telling. Instead of saying, we need to be more innovative, a leader might tell a story about a time when a bold idea changed everything. Instead of saying, we must work as a team, they might share a moment when collaboration led to an unexpected breakthrough. Stories give meaning to ideas and make them memorable. A great story follows a simple structure: challenge, struggle, resolution. It introduces a problem, highlights the journey to overcome it, and ends with a lesson or transformation. When leaders use this structure, their message sticks. People don't just hear the words, they experience them. Storytelling moves people to action. A well-told story doesn't just educate, it ignites change. It makes people believe in something bigger than themselves. And belief is what turns passive listeners into passionate followers. A leader who masters storytelling doesn't just communicate, they inspire. They don't just lead, they create movements. Trust isn't built in a single moment, it's built over time. And the foundation of trust in leadership is consistency. People don't follow leaders because of what they say once, they follow leaders because of what they do repeatedly. A leader who is clear, reliable, and consistent in their words and actions creates a sense of stability. People know what to expect. They feel safe, not because everything is perfect, but because they can count on their leader to be steady, honest, and true to their values. Inconsistent leadership, on the other hand, creates uncertainty. When a leader changes direction frequently, says one thing but does another, or reacts unpredictably, people lose confidence. They hesitate, they second-guess decisions. They hold back their best work because they're unsure if today's priorities will still matter tomorrow. Consistency is not about being rigid, it's about being dependable. It doesn't mean never changing. It means that even when change happens, the leader's core principles remain the same. The best leaders evolve while staying true to their values. They communicate shifts in direction with clarity. They follow through on their commitments. And when they make mistakes, they own them. A leader's consistency also influences culture. If a leader consistently listens, their team will feel heard. If a leader consistently shows respect, respect will become part of the organization's DNA. But if a leader is only engaged some of the time, if they sometimes recognize people's efforts and other times ignore them, it sends mixed signals. And mixed signals erode trust. Consistency isn't flashy, it's not dramatic, but it is powerful. Because when people know they can trust a leader day in and day out, in good times and in challenges, they don't just follow, they commit. They invest, they give their best, knowing they are part of something stable, something meaningful, something they can believe in. People may hear what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. Leadership isn't just about strategy, execution, or decision making, it's about connection. And the strongest connection a leader can build is an emotional one. Most leaders focus on logic. They present facts, set goals, and outline plans, assuming that if something makes sense, people will automatically follow. But human beings are not driven by logic alone. We make decisions, take risks, and commit to ideas because of how they make us feel. The best leaders understand this. They don't just communicate information, they create experiences that resonate emotionally. Emotional connection in leadership isn't about being overly sentimental. It's about making people feel seen, heard, and valued. It's about showing empathy when someone is struggling, celebrating successes in a meaningful way, and inspiring people through shared purpose. When leaders connect emotionally, they don't just get compliance, they earn loyalty. People are far more likely to trust and follow leaders who show vulnerability, authenticity, and passion. When a leader openly shares their challenges and lessons, it makes them relatable. When they express genuine excitement about a vision, it becomes contagious. When they recognize and appreciate people's efforts, it makes those people feel like they matter. And when people feel like they matter, they show up differently, they care more, contribute more, and go beyond expectations. Leadership isn't about standing above people, it's about standing with them. A leader who builds emotional connection fosters a culture where people don't just work for a paycheck, they work for something they believe in. They don't just listen, they engage. They don't just follow orders, they take ownership. At its core, leadership is about human connection. The numbers, strategies, and processes are important, but they will always be secondary to how a leader makes people feel. Because when people feel connected, they don't just support a leader's vision, they make it their own. People may understand facts, but they act on feelings. Leaders who speak only to the head may inform, but leaders who speak to the heart inspire. The difference between hearing a message and being moved by it comes down to emotional connection. When people feel something, they engage, they commit, and they take action, not because they have to, but because they want to. Many leaders believe that logic alone is enough. They present data, outline strategies, and explain plans with precision. While these things are important, they don't create movement. People don't wake up in the morning excited about a spreadsheet or a corporate objective. They get up because they care about a mission, about their team, about making a difference. The best leaders tap into that emotional drive. They don't just say what needs to be done, they show why it matters. Speaking to the heart means communicating with authenticity, passion, and purpose. It means using stories, not just statistics. It means painting a vision that people can see, feel, and believe in. When a leader talks about overcoming challenges, about the impact their work has on real lives, or about the deeper purpose behind the mission, people lean in. They connect. They see themselves in the story. And when people see themselves in the story, they become part of it. This doesn't mean logic has no place. Facts and reason build credibility, but emotion builds loyalty. A leader who combines both creates messages that are not only convincing, but unforgettable. A leader who balances intellect with emotion ensures that people don't just understand the vision, they feel it. At the end of the day, leadership is not just about getting things done, it's about inspiring people to want to do them. Speak to the mind, and people may agree. Speak to the heart, and they will follow. People want to follow leaders who are confident, but they don't want to follow leaders who think they're the smartest person in the room. Confidence inspires trust. Arrogance breeds resentment. The difference between the two is not just in how a leader speaks, but in how they make others feel. Confidence is the quiet assurance that comes from experience, preparation, and belief in a vision. It doesn't need to be loud, boastful, or forceful. True confidence allows a leader to make decisions without hesitation, communicate with clarity, and stand firm in their values. It reassures people, giving them a sense of stability even in uncertain times. Arrogance, on the other hand, is not about certainty, it's about superiority. Arrogant leaders act as if they have all the answers, dismissing feedback and making others feel small. They prioritize their own ego over the collective mission. And when people feel unheard or undervalued, they disengage. No one is inspired by a leader who acts like they are above the team. The strongest leaders are confident enough to admit when they don't know something. They are secure enough to surround themselves with people who are smarter than them in certain areas. They invite ideas, encourage debate, and make decisions based on wisdom rather than pride. They don't fear being wrong because their confidence comes not from pretending to be perfect, but from their ability to learn and adapt. Confidence without arrogance also builds trust. When a leader is self-assured but remains humble, people feel safe following them. They know that their leader will own mistakes, share credit, and lead with integrity. Instead of trying to prove how great they are, confident leaders lift others up, empowering their teams to grow, contribute, and succeed. The best leaders don't need to dominate a room to be respected. They don't need to have all the answers to be trusted. They lead with conviction, but they also lead with humility. Because real confidence is not about showing how important you are, it's about showing others how important they are. Change is inevitable. The world moves fast, markets shift, challenges arise, and unexpected obstacles appear. In leadership, the ability to adapt isn't just an advantage, it's a necessity. The strongest leaders aren't the ones who resist change, they are the ones who embrace it, navigate it, and use it as a catalyst for growth. Many leaders fall into the trap of rigid thinking. They build plans and expect everything to go exactly as envisioned. But leadership isn't about controlling every variable. It's about staying steady while adjusting to the realities of the moment. Being adaptable doesn't mean abandoning principles or lacking direction. It means being flexible in the approach while staying firm in the mission. Great leaders understand that uncertainty is not a threat, it's an opportunity. When faced with a setback, an adaptable leader doesn't freeze or panic. They ask, what can we learn from this? They pivot when necessary, staying open to new solutions, new ideas, and new ways of thinking. They foster a mindset of resilience, showing their teams that challenges are not roadblocks, but stepping stones. Adaptability also requires humility. It means being willing to change course when something isn't working. It means listening to feedback, recognizing when a better way exists, and having the courage to admit when a previous decision needs to be reevaluated. Leaders who cling to outdated methods out of pride eventually lose the trust of those they lead. But leaders who stay open, curious, and willing to evolve earn the respect and confidence of their teams. The world demands leaders who can navigate complexity with agility. Those who resist change get left behind. Those who embrace it grow stronger. Because true leadership is not about having a perfect plan. It's about having the mindset and resilience to lead through whatever comes next. Fear is a powerful force, but it is not a foundation for great leadership. Leaders who rely on fear to maintain control may get short-term results, but they will never inspire lasting commitment. Fear-driven leadership creates compliance, not loyalty. It stifles creativity, limits innovation, and ultimately weakens trust. The best leaders don't use fear to push people forward. They use vision to pull them towards something greater. A leader with vision creates a sense of purpose that is bigger than any individual task or challenge. People don't just want to be told what to do. They want to know why it matters. They want to feel like they are contributing to something meaningful. Visionary leaders paint a picture of the future so compelling that people don't just follow because they have to, they follow because they believe in it. Leading with vision means focusing on possibilities instead of problems. It means recognizing obstacles but not letting them define the path forward. Fear-based leadership makes people cautious, afraid to take risks, and hesitant to speak up. But a leader who leads with vision encourages bold thinking, embraces challenges as opportunities, and creates an environment where people feel safe to innovate, take ownership, and grow. A vision-driven leader also cultivates resilience. When challenges arise, instead of reacting with panic or blame, they remind people of the bigger picture. They create confidence, not anxiety. They inspire action through belief, not intimidation. And because of that, their teams don't just endure tough times, they emerge stronger. True leadership is not about control, it's about inspiration. It's not about making people afraid of failure, it's about making them excited about success. The most effective leaders understand that fear may create movement, but only vision creates momentum. And when people move with purpose, they don't just follow, they help lead the way forward. Leadership is not about the leader, it's about the people they serve. The moment a leader makes it about themselves, they lose sight of their true purpose. The strongest leaders don't seek personal glory or recognition, they focus on lifting others up, fostering collaboration, and creating a shared sense of purpose. A leader who operates with a me mindset prioritizes their own success, takes credit for wins, and distances themselves from failures. This kind of leadership creates resentment, weakens trust, and ultimately disengages the very people who are essential to success. In contrast, a leader who embraces a we mentality builds strong teams, inspires loyalty, and creates an environment where everyone feels valued. Making it about we means recognizing that leadership is not about having all the answers, it's about empowering others to find them. It's about listening to different perspectives, celebrating team contributions, and ensuring that success is shared. A true leader doesn't stand in the spotlight alone, they step aside to shine the light on those around them. When leaders shift their focus from me to we, they create a culture of trust and collaboration. People work harder not because they are forced to, but because they feel a sense of ownership and purpose. They go beyond their job descriptions, support one another, and push toward a common goal, not out of obligation, but out of genuine commitment. At its core, leadership is about service. It's about putting the team before ego, recognizing that no one succeeds alone, and understanding that the best leaders are not the ones who stand above others, but the ones who stand beside them. Because when a leader truly prioritizes we, the entire team rises together. Leadership is not about authority, titles, or commanding power. It is about impact, influence, and the ability to inspire. The most powerful leaders are not the loudest in the room. They're the ones who create trust through consistency, connection through authenticity, and action through vision. They don't push people forward with fear, they pull them towards something greater with purpose. True leadership is not about being followed, it's about empowering others to lead. It's about listening before speaking, serving before demanding, and creating a culture where people don't just comply but commit. It's about standing firm in values while staying adaptable to change. It's about making leadership not about me, but about we. Great leaders don't just communicate, they move people. They don't just talk, they inspire belief. And they don't just lead for today, they build something that lasts far beyond themselves. Because in the end, leadership is not measured by how much power you have, but by how many lives you've touched, how many minds you've opened, and how many hearts you've moved. If you want to lead powerfully, speak with clarity, listen with intent, and act with purpose, lead with vision, not fear. Speak to the heart, not just the head. And most of all, never forget that leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. Because when you lead with purpose, passion, and people at the center, your impact will not just be heard, it will be felt. And that is the key to powerful leadership communication.